Yeah.
All right, we are now being joined by Steve Mowry. We'll begin with a few questions here in the room. Go ahead, Danny.
Steve, very interesting intro to the scrum there. What's the inspiration?
I ended up wearing my monster, a la Steve Cold, or Stone Cold Steve Austin. I ended up wearing my monster a la Stone Cold Steve Austin. So I figured you're in for a penny, in for a pound. You gotta go do it the whole way.
Certainly, certainly. And talk to me about that victory. I mean, it was quick. Did you expect to run through your opponent that quickly?
No, I thought it was gonna be long. I thought it was gonna be a long day. I really did. And yeah, for Kim's fought, everybody that there is to fight.
Yeah.
So I thought that I was obviously hoping to get in there, get him out of there, but no, I really thought I'd be in for 15 minutes of fighting.
Sure. And you're 10-0. That's a nice number. 10 wins, 0 defeats. How happy are you with the progression of your career? Because it seems like it's been escalating quite nicely.
Yeah, I mean everything's on the right track, but it's not because I haven't had a couple pitfalls or behind the scenes drama along the way. But I always had the right people around me. Sanford, the Sanford crew, since I've gotten there when it was the Black Zillions, has always been my family. They've always been there to pick me up. They've always been there to tell me whenever things could be better, things aren't looking good, I could maybe be pushing it harder. So, no, I mean I'm happy. I am happy with it. I'm very blessed to say that I'm part of the Sanford MMA group.
Yeah. I mean, you've been flawless inside of the cage, but you mentioned there are some struggles. Anything you can elaborate on?
This is fucking life, I wake up every day and I feel like I'm living my childhood fantasy of being, like a world-renowned warrior and going out there fighting people for money. But that said, the life, just little life things happen. But like I said, I'm very fortunate to have the right people around me. I have a good family, a good girlfriend, literally a good agent, literally all the right people that could be moving in the right direction. And I'm just so blessed. God's been so good to me.
Yeah. And like you said, you've been doing a phenomenal work, but maybe some fans now are wondering, it's probably time to see Steve in some big bouts, some known names. Do you agree with that? Do you feel like up next should be somebody with some name value, somebody that's been around Bellator for quite some time?
Rakim Cleveland was a PFL veteran, a champion in a couple other regional promotions. Sean Teed was the same way. Sean Asher, when I fought him, his only 2 losses were to current UFC top 10 guys. So respectfully, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. What's next for you? Do you have any names that you would like to face next?
Yeah, so Marcelo Golm. We kind of had like a couple, misconnections, I guess, here and there. It's not disrespect. It's not that I don't like the guy, but it's about the right now that I think makes sense to him and it makes sense to me. So I'd love to. This game's all about fighting the other best guys. And if Marcelo has a good idea, like us fighting, I think it's time we act on that.
Lassie, how far do you see yourself from a title shot? Do you feel like the gold is far, or do you think it's fairly close?
It could be 10 years, it could be a month. I'm going to put that gold on.
Hey, congratulations on your victory.
Thank you.
It's Jim Barcelona, Miami Herald, and I'm just curious, what is it like fighting here, close to Sanford MMA, being in South Florida? I saw Lau was out there. You have Linton fighting tonight as well. Henry Hoof in your corner. Just what was that whole thing like tonight?
No, it was beautiful. I fought my first 4 pro fights in Florida, and I forgot. With my last several were in Idaho. Well, my first with Bellator was in Idaho, and then my last 4 or 5 were with Bellator in Connecticut. And I forgot how nice it was to be close to home. Have your own people around you the whole time. It's not that no knock on Connecticut, especially it's such a nice place, and the commissions, the area up there is so conducive to fighting. But, there's no place like home. I was able to whatever, say goodbye to my family firsthand and not have to get on a flight. I can drive back to my house whenever we're done here. I don't have to take a flight. I don't have to wait another day to see my family. So it's beautiful. And I mean, Florida's not my home state, my adopted home state. I love it here. I've carved out a life for myself, and I don't know if I'm ever going to go anywhere else.
And also, just what was it like your game plan going into this one and getting it done, and then using the armbar submission? And was that just something you saw and you took it, or just what was going on there?
Yeah, so it was like I don't really do the. It's not that I don't do the game plan thing, but it's much less of like, a tight knit script that I'm trying to follow line for line, and more or less, like, okay, well, these are the things I'm looking for. If those don't work, these are the things I'm looking for. If those do work, these are the things I'm going to follow up with. So I mean, that said, the fight did go about as according to plan as we could have hoped. But that said, there's always things you can improve on. Gilbert's here, my coach. We're on our way back, and there's already a few things I think he and I are going to touch on, before we sign for the next one. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting better, using every season of my life, every few fights to get better.
And lastly, for me, it was a nice homage to Stone Cold Steve Austin. Have you been practicing that, or is that just experience?
Absolutely not. I wasn't allowed to watch pro wrestling when I was a kid. My dad hated it. He thought it was, he thought it was an abhorrent, abomination to sport and entertainment. And it wasn't until I got older that I was able to watch for myself and appreciate the theatrics of it, because it is ludicrous, but it's so much fun watching those guys. And Stone Cold, whatever you want to call him, athlete, entertainer. I did, of all the pro wrestlers from that era and the current era, I think he's the one that for me I tend to resonate with the most. I like his personality. I like his philosophies. I think he's just so much fun.
That attitude.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The attitude era too, right?
All right, we'll take a few more here. Kobe.
Hi, Steve. Great performance. Looked like just another day at the office for you when it comes right down to it. You picked Golm. Great choice, in my opinion. You're both coming off now fantastic, impressive performances. Where do you think you have an advantage over Golm, or do you?
No disrespect, but everywhere. I think Golm's very good. I think he's wonderful. And I think, like you said, his last few fights, he's really, turned a corner. He's really added a lot of, new nuances to his game. But it's a challenge I look forward to meeting head on.
That's a fight I want to see too, buddy.
Awesome. Well, I have a feeling, like I said, out there, I don't know if it'll be today. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow. I don't know if it'll be 10 years from now. I feel like me and him and me and a lot of the other Bellator top 10 are gonna have business.
Last one here, Jay.
Thanks very much. And Steve, congratulations on the win tonight. You told me before the fight you weren't allowed to watch the X-Files as a kid. Your dad wouldn't let you watch pro wrestling as a kid. What was his reaction?
That's what I'm saying. He didn't let me watch pro wrestling. I wasn't allowed to watch it.
Yeah, what was his reaction when you said, "Hey, I'm going to be a professional fighter"?
Oh, he laughed it off. Both my parents did. And that's interesting to see how life comes full circle like that. Like my parents both. I asked them both, and they both thought I was probably going to go the route of like a teacher or a professor, and whatever, like the education, some kind of whatever. What's the word? Cerebral job, and look at me now, punching people in the head for money.
Well, there you go, cerebral assassin, to borrow from wrestling as well.
Yeah, I mean, you're telling me. I know Stone Cold, I know The Undertaker, I know The Rock, and that's about the beginning and the end of it.
All right, well, congratulations again
All
tonight.
right, thanks for the time, Steve. Congrats on the win.
Thanks so much, guys.
Recording stopped.